Okay, so introducing over here, Rabbi Shwade from Lakewood, New Jersey, the head of OLDAF for the OU, and Rabbi Avraham Kohn from Eretz Yisrael checking in. And we're going to talk a little bit about the recent campaign, the video campaign we produced to show and to showcase how OLDAF users and Daf Yomi users in general are dealing with the quarantine and keeping to their commitment of doing Daf Yomi. So Moshe, talk to us a minute, just a little bit. What is OLDAF all about?
OLDAF is a tremendous platform that was created at the beginning of this new Daf Yomi cycle, back at the beginning of January. And there was one goal for this platform, to have excuse the cliche, a one-stop shop for Daf Yomi learners, but not only Daf Yomi learners, for anyone who's interested in learning Talmud, to have a place to go where everything is clearly laid out in front of him, whether he wants to learn the Gemara itself, or he wants to get supplemental material for his daf. And Baruch Hashem, we've had tremendous success for many people, as we see in the video, who are enjoying this from all over the world. Last check, we had over 32,000 downloads. Wow. I would say there's probably between 5,000 and 10,000 people who check into the site daily, whether it's the app and the web. And you can't sit back on your laurels. You know, success only continues, obviously, with Siyata D'Shmaya and the help of the one above. But to borrow from the Bali Musar, if you stay stagnant, you're falling back. So you got to keep on pushing and giving people opportunity to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was really struck, like you said, OLDAF is all over the world. And it's just the commitment that people have to keep in Daf Yomi during these times. Everything's unsettled. Everything's moving in every direction. And when you came to us, you know, you were talking, so what could we do? What could we do to give people chizuk at this time, to be, you know, to get the name out in general, and people should remember that there's this amazing asset. So the thought that went through my mind was to go through the angle of participatory marketing. That's what I call it, from a marketing strategy. It's very important when you're a marketer to have fancy words. You know, it helps add a few zeros on the estimate.
Of a specific platform that helps you create fancy corporate words, marketing.
That's my next project, right? As soon as I'm done with you. So basically, the idea is that if we get people to participate in the campaign, so the campaign becomes much bigger than just the final result. So we created a video, but there was also the lead up to the campaign on social media. There's the feeling of people all over who were invested in the campaign, participating. Everyone got a chance to get involved. And then there's a follow-up from the campaign where you actually produce the video, put it on WhatsApp, I think mainly, right, is where the actual advertising dollars went, and your own social media. But I feel, especially for nonprofits, a lot of people ask, you know, I've had this conversation before with nonprofits, how do you break into social media? Like, what's your sell? You know, why should someone support you? There's so many other things. Everyone knows about nonprofits. And the angle I've seen more than anything else is if you can get a fan club by getting people to actually participate, even a small amount, they feel like they're part of the team. They feel good that they're helping the team succeed. They're helping the movement succeed. And that helps, that helps grow exponentially. Then you have a core base, and that grows and grows. And it's also just a beautiful feeling to see everybody involved. Ultimately, as a piece itself, this was really challenging. This wasn't an easy thing from Kohn, will tell you. It wasn't an easy thing to pull off because we had this great idea, so let's get videos from everywhere. And then you have the second problem, but we want to squeeze this in 30 seconds because we want this to work on WhatsApp, and people's attention spans today are just getting less and less. You know, at some point, it's literally like, I think just going to be pictures. But how do you squeeze something in 30 seconds when you have over 20 locations? Gibraltar, we went to, what else we have? South Africa.
Las Vegas.
Yerushalayim.
Florida.
Hong Kong.
Florida, right.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's great, Yoel. What your point
Hong Kong.
The greatest feedback was, I guess, Avraham could talk to this, was squeezing in, I think, around 20 different people learning Daf Yomi in a 30-second WhatsApp clip, and it flowed beautifully from the beginning.
Flowed beautifully, exactly. So this is where Avraham Kohn came in the clutch to help us figure out this math problem. And, you know, originally we tried to go with the approach of just doing sequential. Obviously that wasn't going to work because you can't do it sequentially. So then I said maybe, we'll have a bunch at a time. And then Avraham Kohn took that and ran with it and created something amazing. So Avraham, from your perspective as an editor, how did you think through this problem?
So first of all, being that it's a collaboration with you the entire time makes it super interesting, and it's really it's easier to work through a problem when you have somebody to bounce off ideas off of. So first of all, I got the rough edit from Yoel Judowitz, and sorry, let me just go back there. So I got the rough edit from Yoel, and then I just had to do the online editing, basically taking that rough concept and fine tuning it. The original idea was to create maybe 2 videos and then one long video of 60 seconds to include everybody, because everybody went out there and filmed themselves.
Right.
It would be unfair to make somebody go through the effort and then not put them in. But what ended up happening was the idea of putting a grid and creating this kind of a layout that shows simultaneously everybody on screen. It solved the problem of creating multiple videos, and it helps it makes it more interesting when you're watching it, and it helps give over the idea when you see a few people on the screen. It's kind of reminiscent of what we're going through now during quarantine. For people are learning on Zoom, people are learning in all sorts of virtual environments, and seeing them at the same time on screen also reinforces that message that they are on the same page.
Right, which is the final copy that we did in the end. I think people found that cute as well. That brought it together. Everyone's still on the same page. And what I loved about Avraham's approach, he was very insistent from the beginning, and he was 100% correct in terms of keeping it simple. Because you're asking people to assimilate so much information at the same time. They're watching the video, they're watching multiple videos happening. They're also seeing multiple locations on the screen beneath each video. We'll show you the video in a second. And they have to digest all that information and say, okay, what's this whole thing about? What is it trying to tell me to do? Those questions are going through their heads. So, and I know we went through this with you, Ramesha, but every little tweak, even making the subtitles bold, at some point, in my opinion, already, it's such a very fine point that it's so easy to lose balance. It just became a distraction. So we kept it super simple, something reminiscent of the Apple advertisements. Where they have this really white background and there's one thing to focus on. And Baruch Hashem, I think it really came out beautiful, and we got great positive feedback. What's the feedback from your end in terms of hearing, getting out there on WhatsApp and so on?
So we've gotten great feedback. People have seen it all over the place. I think the best line that I've seen so far is that we didn't even have to script a video because Chazal, our rabbis.
I like that line. I saw that line as well. In other words, we actually had the people reciting the Gemara, reciting the Talmud, so we didn't have to write the narration because our sages did that for us.
But that was brilliant, Yoel. The fact that we took some of them and used their own voices. There were some people who actually spend their time learning daf, in a park, listening on headphones, or walking down the street in Manchester. There are people who learn all different ways. So to be able to get the feel of them listening on their headphones was very interesting.
I think that was great. And another great feedback I saw from one of the rabbis who gives a lecture on Old Daf, he was saying, in a way, Hashem, God created the solution before the problem, because now we're stuck in the situation. It's hard to have access to your Daf Yomi share, and perfect timing, Old Daf is there, so people can still stay the course and keep doing what they're doing. I want to jump in now for a second just to show the video.
Today's daf is daf Nun Vav. Amar Bishmuel Bar Nachmani, Amar of Yonason.
Shemon the pasuk says, "Vayiki zak Shmuel upanav lechochim b'drachav."
Bederachav hu delo alachu.
Aber mit dem allem Mächten lammel gut, sie haben nicht gesündigt.
That they took bribery. And says the Gemara,
So I really like the ending over there. That's why I got that little post ending, like when you think it's over, but then there's a little, it's not a blooper at the end, but it's just a little twist. And I like, the things that we put out to have some little twist to it.
And people who got great feedback we also got great feedback on the line. Still on the same page.
Right. It wraps it, yeah. And it kind of wraps up the video as well. So it has more purpose there.
Right. So this video, just final thought, what this really reminds me of, there's some famous writer who, he wrote to somebody a letter, And he said, I apologize, I didn't have enough time. If I would have had more time, I would have made it shorter. In other words, making something shorter actually is more difficult than making it longer, the challenge of doing that. So overall, it was a great production. It was great to work with Oldaf, an amazing cause.
I would like to add one point that although this video focuses on Daf Yomi, but we have to be thankful and be grateful and appreciative. There are people all over the world who are studying and learning Torah, if they're from our tribe, or just being involved in their education and keeping their spirits up. It's something that we have to be thankful for and appreciate, that we have the ability and the capabilities to focus and do what we have to do and stay connected during this terrible plague, and hopefully it's coming to an end.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, and that gives me an idea for another video, so I think we're going to talk after this, and thank you for setting up my next sales pitch. Great to talk to everybody. Avraham, thank you for jumping on. Moshe, great to talk to you, and great to work with Oldaf, and looking forward to more.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Same here. Looking forward to future projects together.